Hi, so I wanted to address this fabric today, and now this is not, first of all, it's not only referring to this scarf thing, it's actually concerning the manners and behaviors also of the individual who is wearing it. So first of all, most people who sort of have any kind of concept of what this sort of means is that it has to do with some kind of religious or modest kind of thing. And I would say that both of those concepts and like assumption are kind of true. But there's like each individual who is going to answer this question, what this actually has for sort of meaning, is going to give different answers, because it depends on how long do you want the answer to be, because there's like so many different aspects of it. And when it comes to religion, is this a enforcement? No, it's not an enforcement. It's not an enforcement by any man-made concept, and it's not an enforcement either by like religion in its purest kind of form, or whatever you want to define that as, because it depends quite a lot on the context and what kind of opportunities and possibilities do you actually have to in that certain situation to actually wear something like this, and it's going to take different expressions of a history, because the fabrics and the weather and the climate and the resources and everything is changing over time. So even in some aspect the fashion is changing, so that means also this is going to look different in even across the world. Maybe someone lives in a super cold place, they will wear something slightly different than if you are in a really hot setting, like in a really hot weather place, and that's like one thing. So you must say like it's actually taking different expressions over history, and also in that in a specific time, but across the world. So is it something, as I said, is it like an enforcement? Well, everything that you probably wearing is not an enforcement. It shouldn't be like an enforcement in its in its sort of basic way. But I mean, everyone has very kind of different, first of all, preference of what they sort of want to wear, and also with the fashion and all these things, it's kind of shifting over time. And I mean, for me, I do enjoy people who are quite unique and who are not afraid of showing their personality during their lifetime. Some individuals, I feel like they just are obeying kind of concepts. Even fashion can have quite strict, this is what you should do, or this is what you should wear, and otherwise you are like out. So, and of course it's about are they accepted, if they are wearing something in particular, and in relation to if they are not. But to me, I like people who are quite individual and who are unique and who doing what they think is the right thing, as long as it's not harming someone. So it's actually more important also in this kind of setting where it's like there's like billions of people, to actually be unique and to be individual, like to show your personality, because it's sort of part of your brand, like you as a person, your own brand, to have something that is special, so to be yourself and all these things is very important, and so it's actually more about a freedom kind of thing, because when you are approaching different settings and contexts in society, wherever you might be living, what you're saying and what you are doing and your manners, that's like what sort of is representing you, you know, in what you believe in, you know, and what your values and what your personality, like what do you want to achieve, you know. So if you, for example, is if people remember you because of your hair or because of your body shape or because of your makeup, you know, that makeup might be part of some, you know, artistic and like, you know, expression in that kind of sense, and that can be fun, you know. But I mean, if you want people to remember you because you are a sensual like person, you know, who expressing yourself in those types of ways, I mean, okay, well, that's totally up to you, but it's just like, you know, do you have something else? Like, what are your values? What do you want to contribute with? Is it because you have long hair, you want to contribute that to the society? Because if that's all people remember about you, that's going to be kind of, you know, I don't know. It's just like, you know, how you express yourself, you know, it has quite a lot of impact, but to rather, you know, to show what you want and what you kind of believe in and so forth, it's better if it comes by yourself, like in what you're saying, what you are choosing to say, and what you're choosing to do, because that's freedom. If you have choice to choose what you're saying and sort of these things, then that sort of also represent, you know, more about what you sort of, you know, what you want to do, you know. And so if I mean, it's of course it's like because this is like a complex topic, you know, for a lot of people, because it has to do so much about, you know, social science. It has to do a lot about religion, you know, in these kind of what you should do maybe if you want to follow a certain religion and stuff. But I mean, to every single day and to every single person that you're meeting, I mean, you do not have to make yourself into a object that's going to be remembered because you are like, because you look in a certain way that makes you know, people attracted to you because of your look. I mean, people should be attracted to you because of what you say and what you do and your manners, you know, like that's sort of more really representing your personality. And you can sort of choose that, you know. But I know that a lot of people, they're using their looks, you know, to get forward in the society, you know, like they maybe will, you know, style their hair in a certain way because it's like fashion, because then they will be more accepted in a certain setting and by certain groups, because they adhering to that standard. So they're showing also in that way that it's sort of obeying a certain kind of you know, value, or like certain fashion or whatever, you know. But I mean, if you can choose like what you want the world to sort of remember you for, then that's quite a unique kind of choice, you know. So, and that's why this thing is more like giving you the freedom for, you know, for you to choose what you want people to remember about you, you know, and what you want, like how when people are approaching you, they will look at you not because you have nice hair or because you are having a nice body shape or something like this. They will look at you because you have something to say or something of knowledge or something to, you know, some skill, some practical skill or something. They will sort of approach you for those things, you know, rather than this kind of other part, which is more something that you maybe want to keep in a relation or something. I mean, that's also, you know, there are different concepts on these things, like what people are preferring, but, you know, I'm just saying. And also there are like, you know, some people, they will give these, you know, sort of arguments about practical reasons. Because if you have super long hair, and you are like in a super crowded place, and this is especially if you're like in urban kind of city settings and stuff, like it's quite likely that you maybe will get some lice if you are really crowded in a really crowded place. And also rain can damage your hair because it has some, you know, some small elements in it which is not maybe supposed to be in the rain, but we have sort of, you know, those problems in the environment. And also sun damage. If you are living in a place where it's super much sun, it's not good for either for the head to be exposed to too much sun, and it's not either good to expose your hair to too much sun because it's going to make your hair really dry and damaged. And also, like in general, if you're in any kind of place, there's always tons of bacteria, you know. So if you want to have all those bacteria in your hair, and then you're coming home and you go to sleep and you still have all those bacteria, I mean, it's kind of likely that you might catch some kind of cold or something else because of you have all that stuff in your hair, and it's going to be very near to your face, you know. So so by wearing something on your head, you kind of can remove it and you can wash it and you still are clean, you know. And this is also where it sort of connects into this sort of religious practice, because if you are praying, you should, in some, you know, certain religions, be quite clean when you're actually performing the prayer. So I mean, you can wash your hands quite easily, you can wash your face quite easily and so forth, but to wash the hair, if you have really long hair, it's going to take like hours for it to dry, unless you're using like a hair dryer, and that also is going to damage your hair, you know. So there's like a whole list of things, you know. So these are like practical reasons, you know, like why it might be beneficial to actually wear something on your head. As well, if you're living in a cold area, I mean, you either way most likely is going to wear something on your head because you otherwise will be freezing. But are you going to wear this thing 365 days in, like, for your entire life? In, like, if you, let's say you're going to live for 90 years, you know, you're going to wear it like 365 days. No, because honestly, that's also up to you, but it's kind of a choice every action that you take, you know. You can choose to, you know, sleep 1 hour more, or you can get up 1 hour earlier, or you can, you know, you have the choice in certain things. You can choose, you know, small things make a huge difference, you know. So what you are choosing in a certain moment is going to impact what you will do like further ahead of time. So I mean, it's not sure that you're going to have a super strong, if you're talking about religion, that your faith is going to be super strong in every single second, because that's, your faith is like impacted and affected by the things that happens to you. You will be sort of influenced by that. So sometimes you maybe have a low iman, or you, I mean, your faith like is maybe not so strong, and then you maybe feel like, okay, well, I take a break here. But also, like, depending on your activities and stuff, in some places, like if you're going to be out in the forest, like really remote area, and you have, there's like no sunlight, there's like no rain, and like if there's, and you may be wearing something else on your head, maybe you're wearing some kind of helmet or something, I mean, it should still be easy for you, you know. So it's not meant, and that's why it's probably not defined in some of these you know, papers that has been written, you know, like scriptures, exactly how it's supposed to look like, even if it's like, because if you're wearing a helmet, it's going to cover quite a lot of your head, you know, and it will protect you from all these other practical stuff, you know, in some ways. So it sort of depends also on what you're doing. Let's see, did I have something else I wanted to add to this? Because a lot of people wondering and they have questions, and also it's like an easy target for some people, you know, because certain individuals, they are, if they have something against something, it's more likely that they're going to attack women rather than men, you know. And that just have to do with this whole concept about men being strong and women being less strong, you know. But I mean, if you have something against it, okay, well, it's more like showing something about yourself, you know. It's more like about your own concept, about the reality, whatever you have for kind of experience, what you have been exposed to in the past, it's not really going to tell anything about what this kind of thing is, you know. So yeah, and also it's like, if you don't know that much about this thing, you know, it's better to just like, you know, see it as something that is part of some other person's individual path, you know, in their life, and also to sort of understand that civilized manners, I mean, clothes are quite a big part of that, you know. So if some person, individual, choosing to wearing quite a lot of clothes, well, that's probably just a civilized kind of manner in its, you know, in its pure form. So and also if you think about professions, like most professions that are kind of taking place in a very professional environment, like let's say hospitals, so you have some offices and stuff, there's like certain requirements in what you should, like what body parts you should be covering, you know. I mean, not all offices and stuff have this kind of, you know, strict regulations, but it's more like, because in those environments you are expected to do some kind of service, you know, by provided through the abstract knowledge that you hold and stuff. So it's not, you are not there to look good or to like to for your looks to attract the sort of other kinds of intention in other people, you know. So that's like, you know, you can see these types of things like dress codes and stuff being you know, developed in certain environments when it comes to, you know, job settings and work professional settings and stuff. But it's also, as I said, like, what do you want people to see about you, you know, when they approach you and these things? Is it because you look great and they going to, you know, you want people to be attracted to you? I mean, that's kind of a, I would say, like a sad kind of thing, you know. If you want every single person to be attracted to you, I mean, is that what you're living for? Do you get paid for it? I don't know. I mean, it's kind of I mean, yeah, I mean, beauty is one thing, like if you want to express yourself, you want to show that you as a person is, you know, you have you know, you can maintain yourself, and you know, you look fresh and you are clean and these things, that's like important stuff. But I mean, if you just want doing things for the wrong kind of attraction from other people, that's not really, you know, it's not going to benefit you in the long run, you know. So as well, you know, to, you know, ensure that the stuff that you really are striving for is more like, when you expressing those things, it's not like from some behind, like a long hair, you know, that's going to cover your face. In that sense, you might, because hair is something that is you know, sensual, you know, it's something that is part of the body in a very like you know, in its own like it's part of the body, you know. So to have clothes instead of covering parts of your body, that's more like civilized manner, you know, comparison to the body as a product of the nature, you know. So do you want like it's about to be aware of what you actually sort of expressing in this way, you know. So yeah, and yeah, and as I said, like, everyone will have different opinions and everyone is going to have different perspective, but just for the awareness around this, you know, what is this really, and does it have a place over time and in different contexts and societies? I would say yes, it does, because you see that most, unfortunately, most women who sort of, you know, getting their success on their looks, you know, on their like hair and on these kind of body parts, I mean, they also going to be kind of attacked, you know, from different people, and they also going to face some negative intentions from certain individuals. So and also it's like important to choose, you know, what do you want that to be part of what is going to be speaking for you, or you want what you actually are doing, like to be part of what you want to express of yourself, you know. So I think, yeah, that's kind of just the sort of basic kind of discussion of this, you know, or like reflection, I don't know. Because as I said, most people will have different answers to this, you know, and explain it in different kind of meanings. And I mean, I'm not going to go into certain religions because this is quite like cross-sectional, like over different religions there is different concept about these things. So I mean, that's like for the religions themselves to express, but just for the more general, you know. So I hope you have benefit from this, and also given sort of some clarifications about it. And yeah, so yeah, thank you.